Hello, my name is Ben,
And my name is Josh.
and welcome back to FPL Graduates. Hey, the colours are switched up now. We've gone for a little Euro theme today. In the little blue, just like how it's all being advertised for Euro 2020, and we're excited. You know, the tournament's just around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. We're buzzing for it. Loads of hype over on TikTok. A lot of people coming from TikTok as well in the comments, which is lovely to see. And yeah, it's been so busy for both of us that we're going to have to do our reveals on a Tuesday when it starts on Friday.
Yeah, it's a bit mental, and yeah, we just no time. We've just been busy preparing our Euros teams. So yeah, the plan is for the stream today is to go through mine and Josh's Euros team, you know, kind of in-depth analysis and why we've picked the players that we've done. And then questions you've got, guys, we'll go over to them in the comments and we'll answer some of them, some of your like problems you may have in your teams, that sort of thing. Should we just get straight into it?
Let's do it, man. Let's go.
We'll go into it and we'll talk about your team first, Josh. This is how you're setting up. Talk us through, you know, your thought process behind your team.
Yeah, so obviously the bench is just laid out in sort of match day order because obviously if people don't know already, you can sub players on mid-game week before they've played. That is the key thing. I think some people think that you can sub them on after they've played and just get that 10 points on the pitch, but not the case. So they're in match day order. So all the players in the starting 11 will be playing first, and hence why Ronaldo is sat on my bench. We've got Kane and Lukaku and Ronaldo as my attackers. Gone big up top. It's sort of been funded by the bench, I won't lie, but I think it's important to have three big strikers. I don't like to rely on Gerard Moreno, especially the Spain team at the minute. It just seems a bit ropes over there with their COVID. What's happened with that? So I've gone big up top. I've gone Lukaku. I reckon he'll win the Golden Boot, to be honest. Kane is England's talisman. If England are going to do anything, it's going to be through him. And then obviously Ronaldo, similar as well for Portugal. I think for me, it's France and Portugal who come out of that group alive. So no Germany, I'm afraid. Eriksen is so good. He's one of those only midfielders on this game that I think you can pick and be confident with. 9 million. He's Finland first as well, which is a great fixture to have. Wijnaldum is my differential to Depay because although Depay's been tearing it up in the friendly so far, Wijnaldum's been doing bits in the qualifiers beforehand. He scored loads of goals, got loads of assists, a different role to what he plays at Liverpool. So, or used to play at Liverpool, should I say. So he's in there. Alaba, 5.5 million. I'm having so many people comment on TikTok saying, oh, he's a defender. Why are you playing him in midfield? He plays like left attacking midfield for Austria. So just one to watch out. He takes all the set pieces as well, which is really good. And North Macedonia first. You'd expect Austria to win that game. Berardi, 6 million. Me and Ben were talking about this before the stream. The Italian team and Turkey team, you can see how they're going to line up before the game week starts, or the match day starts, should I say. So one to keep an eye out for. If, say, Chiesa's starting, I'll just change it around and put Chiesa in there. But it's definitely going to be an Italian midfielder. Spinazzola, I think he'll play that left wing-back role. And similar to what I've said about Berardi there, got double Danes in defence with I don't even know how to say his name, Mailich and Kaya. Myler is very good going forward. I've seen lots of highlights from him in the Danish team. Looks decent. Probably not quite nailed, but I'm hoping he starts right back. Kaya's more nailed, 4.5 million. Decent option. I think he's owned by like 27% of players. Denies my Belgium coverage. Donnarumma is just Italy. Italy's defence is madness, and I think a double up on them is pretty safe, to be honest. And then we've got Hradecki in goal because he's a playing 4 million goalkeeper, which it would be stupid not to have him and save some money. Pau Torres, obviously very cheap as well, starting for Spain, hopefully. Ronaldo, as I mentioned, and then Nigo, who I don't really plan to sub in. He's literally just there as a budget enabler.
Yeah, decent. I mean, looking at your team right now, is there any player who you've got in there at the moment that you're kind of thinking that he could change by the time that, you know, that lineup for the Italy team comes around? Is there any sort of anyone in your team that you're like, that could be changed?
I think it'll be interesting to see how Italy line up because we've seen a lot of different options in terms of Insigne, Berardi, Chiesa in that midfield. So that midfield spot is going to be crucial. I hope it is Berardi just for the funds. He's only £6 million, which I think is a steal if he's starting in that Italy team. They score goals and they keep clean sheets. Same with Spinazzola, as I mentioned. Whether he starts or not is a little bit up in the air. It's not as bad as some. Like, he's pretty nailed, I'd say. So it'd be interesting to see that. And then obviously, I wouldn't want Nigo on the bench. Like, it's not ideal, but I don't see where I can downgrade personally for me. Because I have no Turkey players in there, so there'd be no one who'd change there. So maybe just those three, I'd say.
Yeah, there's a couple of good options, and some options in there that are very similar to what I've gone with. There's a definite template in this Euros game, and we'll move on. We'll move on to my team, I guess, and kind of talk through what I've got. So this is how I'm lining up at the moment. I'll start with my options up front. I've also gone with Lukaku, but I've not gone Kane. As much as I want to, and I think I agree with all your reasonings, he is very expensive for what he is. And I think I'd rather have Ronaldo because he's got a better fixture. And the tactics behind that is kind of Ronaldo first game week, Mbappe second, and a German player third game week. I think that's, what we've got to
not back in Hungary.
Well, we've got to try and target that Hungary team. I've gone Yilmaz up front. It's a weird one with Yilmaz because very good form this season. A lot of people backing Turkey, and then all of a sudden on Twitter I'm saying, "Oh, Yilmaz isn't a good pick. He's not going to do well." So it's a bit of a strange one. I still back him to do well. I think for the price he is, if he even scores a couple of goals in that group stage, he'd probably be decent for me. Now in midfield, I've gone a bit differential here. In my opinion, I've got Yuri Tielemans to start with. I've got him in for that first game because he's going to be playing a lot more advanced now. De Bruyne is confirmed to be out against Russia. And I think for 6.5 million for a starting centre mid in a Belgium team, I think that's a no-brainer. Tielemans likes to get forward. He scores goals, and we've seen what he does. He's in good form at the moment as well. Come off the back of an inspirational FA Cup final win. And I've also gone Alaba in there. Kind of a bit of a placeholder for me because he's so cheap at 5.5 million with potential attacking returns. I don't think you could really, make a case for it. I think he's got like 1 goal, 2 assists in like 30 of his last international games, something like that. I've gone Insigne instead of Keita and Brady. I've kind of avoiding completely that rotation risk, but I've got Grealish in there as well. Now, this is one that I'm unsure about. I feel like, personally, he's played his way into that England team with his performances. But I know how much Southgate likes Mason Mount, Phil Foden, the likes of them. So that spot is always going to be an England midfield, I think. Whether that be Grealish, Mount, you name it. I've looked at the options. I've looked at potentially Rashford, who's a 9.5 striker. But yeah, at the moment, it's Grealish because, I liked how he played the other day. And I think he'd be very exciting if he played attacking midfield like he did in the other two. Defense, it's a similar sort of story to Josh. I've gone Spinazzola, Kier, Denea, and I've gone Wijnaldum.
Something like that.
Butchering names left, right, and centre. Again, potential rotation risk if De Boer sticks with that 5-3-2. He's gotten a lot of stick for playing it, but he's getting goals and he's still producing an attacking brand of football. On the bench at the moment, Hradecky. I'm happy with Donnarumma being in goal for all the fixtures. Not really thinking too much about my chips at the moment, to be honest. I'm kind of just vibing, but yeah, I've got Ronaldo in there. He'll obviously be subbed on at some point. Pau Torres and Ferran Torres as well, and again, like we've seen the situation with Spain at the moment. I'm not too sure now on whether they're good options, but I think if Ferran plays, he's their talisman for Spain. I get that there's a couple of good striking options, but Ferran is the one that's been producing goals as of recently for Spain. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking set up at the moment. It's not too bad. It's a bit stronger on the bench, I feel, than yours.
Yeah, totally. I really like the look of it. The reason I've gone off Yilmaz, well, I say gone off, I haven't gone off him because I really like him as a pick, but the reason he's not in my team, because he was at the start, is just because I don't feel like he's going to have much fun against Italy. I think I'm going to bring him in on my limitless that I'm planning to play match day 2. I think he's obviously got a better fixture there, so that's my thought process behind that. I love the Insigne pick. I wish I could afford him in my draft. Can't quite stretch to 8.5 that he's sat at the minute. And then Vinal, don't know how to say his name. The Dutch left back. I think he's a good option as well. I've had him in loads of my drafts so far, but I don't know. I've sort of put in a lot of eggs in two baskets, I guess you could say, of Italy defense and Danish defense. But they're both of their fixtures in match day 1 and 3. They're both very tasty, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, that Yilmaz pick, I think it's based on the fact that myself and you, we both got an Italy double up in the defense, and I think that we will see a case where people might not even be able to sub them out. These Italy players if they don't perform, and I think having Yilmaz he's going to be the one that punishes that defense if it's going to happen. So totally. I think that's my reasoning behind it. In terms of where I want to improve, I really would like Depay in that team, but you know, it's a case of upgrading Yilmaz and downgrading elsewhere, and I don't really know where I could downgrade. Maybe a 5.5, another 5.5 midfielder, but again, if I downgrade a Grealish, someone like that, to a 5.5, that just makes that midfield really, really weak. So yeah, that's the kind of problem I've got there. In that I want Depay, I really do, and I think he's going to be one of the highest scorers in the competition. But who do I drop to bring him in?
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's why I've gone. That's why I've sort of gone Genie, because he's like 2 million cheaper. I know he's probably not going to get as many attacking returns as Depay, but it's sort of that Dutch attacking coverage for me personally. I think it's going to be important because their group is very, very easy for the Dutch team. I'll be very surprised if they don't win all 3 of those games.
Yeah, there's been a lot of controversy with the way that the Dutch are playing right now, but I think they're a good team still, even if the midfielders aren't playing as high forward. They were playing a 4-4-3, but aren't anymore. Let's get into some questions, and we'll start answering them. Let's have a look. Zinchenko or Spinazzola? I know you were talking about this one earlier on, and in the TikTok live, I think you were as well.
Yeah, people were saying get Zinchenko in. I've seen a lot of comments on my TikTok today actually saying get Zinchenko in. If I know Spinazzola is playing, which I will obviously on Friday, I don't think I'd even think about Zinchenko just because of Ukraine defensively. For me, I know they're not going to go too far in that competition. I don't think they're going to keep clean sheets. You're almost just keeping Zinchenko in there because he takes penalties and he's playing in midfield. Whereas I think a lot of people are sort of passing by on the fact that a lot of these teams are playing like a 5-back formation. So like Spinazzola will be playing almost like left midfield for Italy. So I think he's just as attacking and probably, he is in a better team. So I'd probably stick to Spinazzola if I was Oliver.
Yeah, I agree. Dylan asks, anyone we should double/triple up on? And I think it's probably a key thing here for the fantasy. It's probably putting your eggs in that one basket and seeing where you go, because there's only a few of the bigger teams, aren't there? Is there anyone we should be looking out for? I'd say probably Belgium is the one that I'd look to triple up on.
Yeah, obviously they're a great team with a pretty decent group, you have to say. I've seen someone who's gone totally without Belgium. I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? It's give me jitters. But for me, I've gone triple Danish. I know that sounds a bit surprising, but their rotation in match day 1 and 3. I know they have Finland on the 1. I'm not sure who's in 3, but it's an easier game for them. I do expect them to get out of that group as well. Ericsson, almost everything goes through him. I think 9 million is quite reasonable for him as well, considering the fixtures he has. And then their defense is also equally quite good. I've seen a lot of Schmeichel going about, but for me, I've gone with that Kaya and Myler double up. That's going to be a fun one to say. I think if Myler plays, he's going to get some decent returns going forward. And obviously, Kaya's just there for that clean sheet, really.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now, my team, and I've already thought of another transfer to make, so it's not good. I may as well start talking about that again, to be honest. I've just thought about it, and I saw a comment. Who was it from? it was FPL Penguin who's talking about the Grealish rotation and how he likes the Tielemans pick. And those are the two players I was thinking, I've got an idea here what I could do. I mean, I could easily downgrade Grealish to someone like Mason Mount, couldn't I? And then upgrade that Tielemans pick to Yannick Carrasco. Because I think in terms of that Hazard situation, I don't think he starts that first game. That's an interesting one. But it's whether Carrasco plays, right?
Tough though, yeah. Like that's the thing. It's all up in the air, and you sort of gambling with Hazard, Carrasco. I think same with the Grealish. How much is Grealish? Because I don't think I've actually seen his price.
7.5. So what I'd do is just 7.5 to Mount 7, Tielemans 6.5 to Carrasco at 7. Yeah. So there's a lot of options at that like 7 million to 8 million pound bracket.
Yeah. You've got a lot of mobility, I'd say, of that midfield. I think also you've got Ferran Torres on there. You don't really know if he's definitely starting as well. So that's always another option that you can maybe use to upgrade. For me, though, I'd steer clear of Tielemans is going to play. So I'd probably steer clear of Carrasco because if Hazard plays, then Carrasco won't really be around the team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm thinking Carrasco might, He might. He just might. But it's what the Euros are all about. It's such big squads as well. So yeah, that's the thing we've got to look at. Is Tim Krul a good pick to start? Now, I would have told you a week ago, yes, probably. But he's not in my team, and I don't know how good defensively the Netherlands are going to be. They do tend to concede one or two here or there, don't they?
Yeah, well, they conceded 2 to Scotland the other night, so that doesn't put them in much good stead. And also, I don't think personally Tim Krul starts. I think Stecklenburg is what I've heard from a few people now is that Stecklenburg is going to be starting. A lot of Dutch fans also thought that before the build up to the competition. So whether we see a little Louis van Gaal, Tim Krul sub of Krul, we might see that.
Yeah. Glenn is thinking of getting Insigne as his Italy cover. Good pick, or are there better options from Italy?
I'd say he's the best midfielder pick. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I'd say he's probably the safest pick going forwards out of any of them. Yeah. I think for value as well, like Immobile is just that little bit too expensive, isn't he? How much is he?
He's 10 million, and also Belotti has the number 9 shirt. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but I just got put off by Belotti being in the squad because I know he's a good striker as well. So I think Insigne for me definitely the best Italian pick, and I think you could even forget about it in terms of him starting because I'm sure he probably will.
Yeah, I think he definitely will start. Lewandowski or Depay? I'm straight out Depay.
Yeah, Depay. You save 1.5 million and probably get a guy who's going to score more points than him. So
looks in better form, So
exactly.
Glenn again asking who's the best England defender to know, and as Englishman, I genuinely have no idea who's going to be starting apart from Stones.
Yeah. I think he was my pick in our picks video that we did. If you haven't seen them already, go check them out. The only reason that you'd go, I don't even think I'd go England defence because I just don't think we're going to keep that many clean sheets. Like I can see Croatia scoring against us, quite easily.
I think the only players that are probably nailed on to start in that England team are Pickford, Stones, Kane.
I wouldn't even say Pickford's now because I've seen a lot of people thinking Henderson's going to start.
No, he won't. And then maybe you can't even say Rice is nailed in that England team either. Like all the positions are up for grabs. So,
I feel like if Trippier starts and he plays consistently in like a 5-back, I reckon I'd see him coming into my team because he just looks really good at the minute. Like even in those friendlies, I thought he looked quite good.
Thoughts on Spain? Well, they've brought in a few players today, haven't they? To play their remaining friendly. I'm not too sure what's going on. We're going to have to keep an eye on that and see how things go. But they're playing Sweden, right?
I think so.
I think they've had an outbreak as well. So we could see a double game week in a Euros game for the first time ever. Which could you imagine?
Crazy. Like teams have to travel as well, so it might even still have outbreaks during the tournament. Like it's genuine possibilities.
Yeah. Right. I'm trying to get through questions. It's a lot of will this player or that player play? We ain't got the
We ain't
ball.
got the crystal ball.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Here's an interesting one: budget striker options.
I don't know. Have you got any off the top of your head straight away?
Again, this is the Gerard Moreno. You could maybe say off the top of my head 6.5 million. But I think he will be paired with Morata. I mean, if they play, I mean, it's crazy that we're already like, if they play, if they don't play, you know what I mean? Do you have any sort of value ones you could think of the top of your head?
I think if you want to go proper differential, like Shea Adams, I think he's a proven scorer at Southampton. I think Scotland, other than the England game, two teams that aren't the best defensively. Croatia have conceded a lot of goals. I think 14 goals in their last 10 international games. So, yeah, maybe if you really want to stick your neck out. The thing is, though, on this game, like the strikers are premium for a reason. And I think having three, at least like 8 million and above strikers is pretty essential.
Yeah, I think you probably couldn't, if you couldn't afford the pie, you were probably not going too far wrong if you went for Weghorst from the Netherlands as well. He's not looking too bad, and I think he will play a role up front in a two alongside the pie. So I don't think you could go too wrong there. I'm trying to get through the questions. There's a lot of questions in here saying, will this player start? And interesting one here. I've seen this on Twitter as well. Someone tripling up on Austria. Is this person crazy, or is there a method here?
Well, they're facing North Macedonia first game, and it's similar to my Danish thoughts with Finland. They're not a great team. I'd say Macedonia are probably better than Finland, but again, I think Austria, similar to Denmark in a way where they've got a lot of decent individual players. So it's just whether they come together as a team. Backman is very cheap at 4.5 million if he's starting in goal. Good little rotation to have. We both have Alaba. I think his value for money is great. Sabitz is a bit expensive for me personally, but also their striker, I can't remember his name now, Selejovic, something like that. He's 7.5 million. He seems pretty good. He's had a very good season for Stuttgart. So he's also a budget striker who I'd choose from the question before.
Yeah, we've got a question here. Again, from the same guy, Ashley, saying, why 4-4-2 over 4-3-3 when you have three premium strikers? Now, this is due to the fact that we can sub players in and out mid-game week. And, we've got Ronaldo both on our bench, I believe. And that's because they play on the last day of match day one, don't they? So we'll look to sub him in, even potentially could captain him if no one else has really returned any out of our captain choices. So yeah, that's the reason why we're currently in a 4-4-2 formation. It's because the players simply play earlier than the others.
Yeah, I think we can explain that now, to be fair, because I think a lot of people aren't sure what happened. So basically, the reason why we've got like Ronaldo and other players on the bench, I sort of went over it earlier, is because you need to put the players who play first in your team to start off with. And then if Alaba only gets 2 points for playing 90 minutes against Macedonia or whatever, then we can then sub in Ronaldo, knowing that Alaba hasn't gone and scored a hat-trick against Macedonia. And then so it sort of like eliminates the chance of you having points on your bench, because you just obviously play the players who play first, if that makes sense. And also you can change your captain every day of the match day. So, for example, we'll be captaining, for me, Berardi on the first day, and then we'll move on to like Lukaku for the second day until you're happy with your captaincy points. That's the main rule changes, I would say, personally. I don't know about you, if you want to add anything.
I don't think I do have anything to add around that. Obviously, the captain's picks, you can change them. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything else really to cover on that. All the rules and stuff are on UEFA's like fantasy website anyway.
Yeah, they're really easy
Games
to read
website.
as well.
And yeah, in the Champions League there was points for ball recoveries, but in this variation of the game, it's just purely goals and assists and stuff like that. So Yeah. How many points is a clean sheet for defenders and goalkeepers? I think it's pretty similar to FPL, if I'm not
It's
mistaken.
4, I'm pretty certain. Yeah.
Yeah, so keep the questions coming in. We'll go for another sort of 5 or so minutes, and get your last questions in about your team. We got one here from Rob said, "Will Forgan Hazard play? / would he be a good pick?" Now, I'm not too sure about that one. What about you?
I've seen him playing in the friendlies, but I'm not sure. I haven't really paid a close eye to Belgium in terms of their midfield and stuff, because I've been more looking at Denayer. But personally, I wouldn't say so. Like, if you've got Lukaku, I think in terms of Belgium attack, you're probably covered. I'd probably focus more defensively, because I think they'll be decent defensively. Whoever starts at right wing back will be a very good pick, in my opinion.
Well, you got. I do think that Carrasco pick is a good one. I know, like down that left side, I think Carrasco even plays when Eden Hazard is back, because they do play very attacking down that left hand side. And in the last 2-3 games, Carrasco has played. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. It's a tough one with the bigger teams, especially.
Yeah,
you don't know who's going to play, really, do you? You can. It's just pep roulette on a different level in this game. It's basically what it is. Let's have a look. Sufal or Kaya? I mean, Josh, I'll probably gather what your answer is, and it's probably the Danish boy, right?
Yeah, it is. I had Sufal in like one of my first drafts. I think he'll be an okay pick. Like, I wouldn't say Sufal is a bad pick, but I think Kaya is just the better pick, because he has 2 good fit. If you're playing Limitless Match Day 2, he has 2 good fixtures either side of that, so you don't have to really worry about transferring him out. Whereas Sufal, I'm not really sure, but Czech Republic obviously have Scotland first. I'm not sure their Match Day 3 one, but he's also 0.5 more, so I'd probably just go for Kaya personally.
Yeah, another question here. Pau Torres or Denayer? Please, I need to know. Sorry. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I mean, we've both got both of these players in our teams right now, and I think both of them are really, really good options. In terms of which one's the better one, I'd probably lean towards Denayer a bit more, because his spot is a bit more nailed in that Belgian team. Torres, likely to line up alongside Laporte, but obviously Eric Garcia's in there in the mix. So I think Denayer, especially with that Belgian team, I think it's a bit better, that Spanish one. I don't know what you think, Josh.
Yeah, I totally agree. Apparently, there's rumours that Laporte will play with Eric Garcia because they've trained at City together, so they obviously know how each other play. So it's a tough one, but personally, Denayer, I've got both. I'm lucky to have both, but I'm not sure if I'll keep Pau Torres, just because there's that risk of, first of all, the COVID breakout, and second of all, whether he even plays at all. So he might be another one of those players that get chopped and changed before the deadline.
Yeah, Oliver asks, will you be doing team reviews? Josh, talk us through it. Will we be reviewing everyone else's teams?
Yes, well, loads of people have already sent in loads of DMs on the Instagram. I'm sure me and Ben will get around to doing a TikTok live at some stage before Friday. We'll get to reviewing everyone's teams from that. And like we do always, if we don't review them on the live, we will definitely review them in the DM. So make sure you send them over to Instagram if you want us to review them.
Yeah, like I said, we're busy people this week, and we're getting through them. I mean, I spent about half an hour today, going through all the DMs and all the teams you guys have been sending in. Been some good teams and some interesting differentials picked that I didn't really think of before. So it's good to see. Okay, here's a good one, and I think we'll have this as our final question from Ollie. Best front three, unlimited price. Go.
Right. Lukaku for sure. I think Lukaku's in everyone's team. For me, I love Ronaldo. Just for match week 1, Ronaldo is undeniably good. And you can also, he's 12 million, so you can move him to anybody. for match day 2 or 3, whatever you're playing strategy wise. And then the third pick. See, I've got Kane, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's like the best pick. I'm thinking twice about Kane because I just know what England are like. They'll win 1-0 and like Jude Bellingham will score or something like that. Like it'll be one of those sort of wins. I think Depay. That's what I'd probably go with. I'd go with Lukaku, Ronaldo, Depay right now. Today is my favourite front three.
Yeah, I'd agree definitely with Depay and Lukaku. It's a tough one because you got that group of death. I think it'd be a lot more clear cut if all them teams weren't all together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for the longevity of the group stage. I'd go for Kane over the 3 fixtures, but obviously, it isn't a long-term game, so you're going to be playing it in the short term, and I think that's you got to target Hungary in that third striker position is what you got to do, and sorry Hungary fans. I did it to West. Did it
injuries as well.
Did it to West Ham. The start of the FPL season. So who knows? They could even be pushing for trophies come the end of the tournament. So we'll see. But yeah, that almost wraps up our first sort of like, what's this, Euro team review?
It can't be FPL Friday anymore.
Can't be FPL Friday. But yeah, we'll be going live on YouTube next week, hopefully. Going through match week 1, talking through it. How did we do? How not? And we might even get 1 or 2 special guests on. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely want to stay subscribed to us. I know a lot of people have been subscribing to us over the past couple of weeks for the Euro content. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're close to 1,000. It would be sick if we could hear, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We're looking all over social media. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on this YouTube video. As always, follow us on everything. Linktree is down below. And yeah, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys
later.